If you're finding great deals that you don't want, instead of wasting those, I don't really want to work with someone like that. I want someone who's a bit more switched on. Maybe the deal is outside of their area. Maybe it doesn't fit their normal strategy. Maybe it's too big or too small for them. The problem is, what happens if they don't find deals or they're not very good deals? It's going to be really difficult to get your money back. So what you want to do is you need to get clear on that, because when a good deal comes your way, if you're sitting and thinking and umming and ahhing about it, guess what? If it's a really good deal, someone else is going to snap up that deal while you're still wondering if it's good or not. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Property Magic Podcast, which is all about all things property deal sourcing. Now, this is going to be valuable for you if you want to use deal sources to find property deals for you, or if you want to become a deal sourcer, or maybe you're already an experienced investor and you never really thought about deal sourcing. Hopefully by the end of this episode, you're going to be thinking, yeah, maybe I really should be doing some deal sourcing. Now, what is deal sourcing? Well, there are lots of people who have the desire to get into property. They want to acquire great investment properties, and maybe they've got the money, but they don't have the time, they don't have the energy, they don't have the inclination to go and find deals themselves. So there's a whole group of people who are out there looking for motivated sellers, securing fantastic property deals. And obviously, deal sourcers should be keeping the very best deals for themselves. Why on earth would they sell on great deals? But everyone has a certain capacity, certain bandwidth. You can only get a certain number of mortgages at any one time. There are only a certain number of deals you can deal with. And so my belief is this: if you are an investor and you're out there finding really good deals, and of course you're going to keep the best ones yourself, if you're finding great deals that you don't want, instead of wasting those, why not pass them on to other investors and either get paid a fee for that, and the fees you make, which are typically £3,000 to £5,000 per deal. And by the way, you can absolutely be a deal sourcer very much part-time, finding a couple of deals and selling those on each month, which would pretty much give you a £100,000 a year income working very much part-time, which is not bad. You should be passing deals to other people, otherwise you are just leaving literally piles of cash on the table. So I'm going to give you some hints and tips about how you can become a good deal sourcer, or if you want to work with deal sourcers, how can you work out the good from the bad? Because unfortunately, there are lots of people out there who call themselves a deal sourcer, but they really don't have a clue what they are doing. And frankly, they're wasting your time and their time and anyone else's time that they happen to deal with. So let me give you a little bit of a guideline about becoming and also working with deal sourcers. And I was asked this question the other day by someone, said, look, if someone's an investor, how do they find a good deal sourcer? So some criteria I think you should go through. First of all, if you meet anyone who says, hey, I can source deals for you, I would want to say to them, okay, that's great. Can you show me the latest deal you have available? Either one you've got right now, or if you've sold them all and you don't have any available right now, can you show me the last one you passed on to someone else? And I want to see the quality of the information they're providing. You see, a good deal sourcer will have a one-page summary of each deal they found, saying why it is a good deal. And maybe it's because it's a discounted deal, maybe it's a purchase lease option, maybe it's a very high return of it. But what makes it a great deal? And as an investor who potentially interested in that deal, I want the headline figures. I want to know, what's the value of the property? How much can I buy it for? How much cash is needed? What's my return on investment? What's my cash flow? So I can very quickly assess, is it a good deal or not? I also want to look at the information and sense check it against what I know about deals in this area to see, does this deal sourcer really know what they're talking about? So ask them to look at a deal. That's the first thing. The next thing I would like to ask them is, have they done any training at all? Now, lots of people have been very successful on their own without having to do any formal training, but also most people recognize that actually if they want to speed up their results, investing in themselves to get some training is a very smart thing to do, rather than trying to learn everything for free by watching videos on YouTube, which by the way is very good, but there's a limit to how much you can learn from that. And there's so much information out there. The problem is you don't know what's right and what's wrong. So I want to ask someone, have you actually educated yourself? Have you done some training with someone? So ideally they have done that. I'll know who is that, because There are some trainers out there who are really good. Unfortunately, there are some trainers out there who are not so good. And if they've trained with someone who I think, yeah, it's pretty good, and when you become a little bit more experienced in the property world, you'll start to work out who the good trainers are and the not so good trainers. If they've been trained with someone who is good and knows what they're doing, okay, that's great. At least that's going to be a good start. So first of all, I'm going to see an actual deal. Second, I understand if they have done some training. Next, I want to ask them, so are you selling all the deals you find, or do you keep some deals for yourself? And this is a mistake I see many deal sourcers make. They get into the pattern of I'm selling, and that's because maybe they don't have enough of their own funds to act as deposits, or maybe they can't get mortgages, whatever it is. They just get in this mindset of I'm selling these deals. And I don't really want to work with someone like that. I want someone who's a bit more switched on. They're actually an investor themselves, because if they're keeping some deals, they're going to have a better understanding of what makes a good deal or not. You might also be thinking, well, why would these people sell a deal if it's a good deal? And there's plenty of reasons why. Maybe the deal is outside of their area. Maybe it doesn't fit their normal strategy. Maybe it's too big or too small for them. Maybe all their funds are tied up, or whatever reason is, there might be very valid reasons why they're selling this deal. But if someone's selling everything they're finding, I don't know if they're really a good investor themselves, because then do they really understand what makes a great investment? And then the final thing I want to check, and sometimes people want to check this first, but actually I think the other things are better to check. This final thing is very, very simple, is are they a compliant deal sourcer? So if you are finding deals and selling to other people, there are 4 steps of compliance you really should go through. The first one is it's a really good idea to be a member of something like the PRS, the Property Redress Scheme. What that means is if you have a challenge or dispute with someone, they will come in and arbitrate and I hope you find a good solution. The next thing is you need to have professional indemnity insurance. If someone tries to sue you because you've made a mistake, you missold something, well then that's really important to have in place. The next is they should be registered with the ICO, the Information Commission Office. In fact, all businesses should be really registered because they're holding information and data. And finally, you want to make sure they're registered with HMRC for AML, anti-money laundering checks, because if you are selling property to someone, unfortunately, a lot of people use property as a way of laundering money, and you don't want to be accepting any money that's being laundered. So it's really important you're doing those AML checks. And when you register with all those things, you get a little code, a reference for each of them. So if you say to someone, are you a compliant deal sourcer? And they look at you blankly, run a mile, okay? They obviously have not done training, they don't know what they're doing, and it's very risky to be working with someone like that. Now, another point I'd like to make is that many investors make the mistake of working with a deal sourcer who says, well, I want you to pay me some money up front, and then I'm going to find you deals and give you access to the deals I find. My very strong recommendation is do not pay anyone any money up front to find you deals. In my experience, that is not a good thing, because sometimes people who have no money are taught by unscrupulous property training companies that they should go and ask lots of people for money and that'll give you a float and then you can find great deals. And the problem is, what happens if they don't find deals or they're not very good deals? It's going to be really difficult to get your money back. So what you want to do is you're more than happy to put down a reservation fee based on specific properties as they come up. If you want to take it off the market, so to speak, so you're the only investor working with that deal, most deal sources will require you to put down a deposit, which is fine. It might be 500, might be £1,000. That's absolutely fine. And you need to make sure you look at that deal source's terms and conditions to understand when do you get that deposit back, when do you not get that deposit back. Generally, if the deal falls over and it's no fault of yourself, I think you should get that deposit back. However, if the deal falls over because you've taken months and months and months to do your due diligence and things that should have taken just a few weeks, and because of that, the seller pulls out the deal, well, in that case, maybe you should lose your deposit because you've just not done a very good job. Now, by the way, if the deal sourcer has done their job, they should have given you all the due diligence. You should have a really good summary sheet so you can work out very quickly if this is a good deal for you or not. So to become a successful investor, one of the things you need to do, and this could be an action, listening to this or watching this podcast, if you don't have a clear idea of what are your buying criteria, I highly recommend you take the time to work that out. What I mean by that is, what kind of deals are you looking for? What meet your criteria? Maybe it's a certain cash flow, a certain return on investment, a certain amount of money invested. You need to get clear on that, because when a good deal comes your way, if you're sitting and thinking and umming and ahhing about it, guess what? If it's a really good deal, someone else is going to snap up that deal while you're still wondering if it's good or not. So get really clear on your buying criteria. And if you're a deal sourcer, you'll know exactly which deals you want to keep and which ones you want to pass on to other people. Now, of course, they do need to be great deals. You know, you don't want to sell something that's not very good, because that person's not going to come back to you again. With social media these days, it's very easy for someone to get a bad reputation. So I suggest you find really good deals, and if they're ones you don't want, you can pass them to other people. And by the way, you don't need to have a lot of buyers. A handful of people who've got money, who don't have the time or energy to find deals, that might be all you need to make a substantial income by selling deals to other people. And a great thing you do is go to a local property investor network meeting. Anybody can stand up and do their 20-second introduction. Stand up, say you're looking for deals or you're finding deals that you might be prepared to pass on to other people, and you'll have a queue of people lining up to see if they can work with you and you can find deals for them. Now, just in the same way that as an investor, you need to do your due diligence and research on deal sources, if you're a deal sourcer, you also need to do your due diligence and research on people who want to become investors. There are lots of people who say they want to do this and want to do that, but it comes down to it, they're not prepared to put in the time and effort, and they don't have the money they need. So if you are a deal sourcer, I would make sure you vet your investors, make sure they actually have a deposit and they can move forward. I would make sure they're able to get a mortgage so they can actually buy the properties you're presenting to them, and also build that relationship with them, get to know them. It makes me smile, and it's also cringe when I see people go on Facebook saying, I found a great deal in Rotherham, it's a 3-bed property, who's interested? Well, you get a load of time wasters who don't know what they're doing, and that's not even a very good description anyway. Any serious investor is probably not going to respond to that advert. So it's not about posting stuff on social media to attract buyers. It's about meeting people who want great property deals, building a relationship with them, and having this true win-win. So whether you're someone who wants to source properties or someone who wants to work with sourcers, you need to do this professionally. Now, you might think, we have people on our year-long program who are learning how to find great deals themselves. You might think, well, surely if I'm learning how to, I don't want to use a deal sourcer. Well, look, I have paid people fees for really good property deals that have come to me, and actually they found it, they put the time and effort in, they've secured this deal, and I'm very happy to pay the fees. And I still pay fees to people if they bring a great deal for me. It's got to be a really good deal, by the way, and I absolutely know how to find deals myself, and I do find deals myself, but I'm really happy to pay fees if they have a really good deal. The problem is, most people don't know how to find good deals. And in fact, it's the #1 skill that you need to become a successful investor. And that is the ability to find great deals in your area. And with that in mind, I'd like to tell you about some online training I'm running completely free, a masterclass all about how to find great deals in any area, no matter where you live, so you can buy them for yourself or you can pass them on to other people. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description, in the show notes. So click on that link and come and register for that training. It's happening fairly soon, so I take action right now. If you're watching the YouTube video, there's going to be a link in the description. You can come down, click on the link, come and secure your place. I'll do it as soon as you can. This live training is going to happen very soon. It'll be a real shame to miss this. And that reminds me, by the way, if you're watching this video, why not like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the bell icon. Whenever a timely video comes like that, out like this, you want to make sure you see it on time, you can take action, because very often I'm sharing a time-sensitive strategy or might have some special offer. You don't want to be missing these videos and watch them 6 months after they've come out. So, in summary, finding deals that you don't want and pass them on to people is a great way to make extra money. Whether you're completely new to property or you're already a successful established investor, it's a great thing for you to be doing. And I highly recommend you do that, because right now, as I'm recording this, we're in this buyer's market. That means there are more people looking to sell than there are looking to buy. There's lots of opportunity, but you've got to get out there and either start looking for deals yourself or look for those deal sources who are putting in the time and effort and just pay them a fee to secure those great deals. But now is a great time. You should absolutely be making the most of it. So I do hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Click on the link below to come and join the live online training. Until the next episode, I encourage you to invest in knowledge, invest for skill.